In this video, we're going to see how to create a smoke effect or a fog effect. Now, we're going to use this image from a former student, and if you look here, we have a couple of folders, a pass folder and a mask folder. Now, this is because when we open the XR file from 3ds Max, we can have a lot of information inside one single XR, and we normally use XR.io to open them. And so we end up with a lot of passes here, all the passes that we decide to get from 3ds Max, from Corona, or from V-Ray. And to work on smoke or fog, we need the ZDAP for sure. So be careful and just go back on 3ds Max and see and check if you have the ZDAP pass on. And the ZDAP is probably one of the only paths that you need to modify. You need to set up when you add it on the list, because you need to set the ZDAP min to 0, which is the camera position, and the ZDAP max value, which is the value that depends on the last object in the scene, is the distance between the camera and the last object. So if you look at the image from the top, the scene from the top, you can use a tape to measure that distance, and so you need to specify it. Otherwise, you will not get the full ZDAP, but you will get like an image like this, like black and white, but it will give you information till a certain point and not the information to the entire scene. As you can see, we have information till the last tree here visible, so this is a good ZDAP. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the original ZDAP for this project here, which is 32-bit. This is the 16-bit ZDAP. I will show you how to work anyway in the same way. Of course, the 32-bit ZDAP is a lot better than the 16-bit because we have way more information in it, and so we can make better masks and get better result. Anyway, what to do once you open the XR file and you get the ZDAP here. As you can see, the ZDAP has no background, okay? It's basically cut it out. And so what I do here, while I'm still in 32-bit, I right-click in the empty area here, duplicate layer, and I pick a new file. And now I should have 32-bit ZDAP still here, so I can save this as a PSD, so I can have the 32-bit ZDAP any moment, and I can do whatever I want with it. Now it's 16-bit, but don't mind this. Let's suppose it's 32-bit. What can we do here? We can, of course, first of all, add a new layer, and with Shift F5, we can fill this layer with the black value. And then most of the time, what you want to do is to invert the ZDAP, okay? You want black to become white and vice versa. But unfortunately, in the 32-bit, there's no invert. We have it here because it's a 16-bit, but in 32-bit, you will see this grayed out. So you cannot invert the ZDAP in 32-bit. So what to do? You can go with levels, okay, which are there even with a 32-bit image, and you just need to move this white point on the left, and this black point here on the right. So I do this, and then I move this on the left and this on the right. And as you can see now here, it looks like we inverted the ZDAP. So now what to do here? Well, first of all, you can just Ctrl+Alt+Shift+E on the keyboard to get a stamp image, an inverted ZDAP, and you can take this and bring it into the other file. Okay, you can just Ctrl+A, Ctrl+C, and now we are here back on the image. What we can do is, now I will hide these effects folder to take away all the fog, and I will make a new layer here, and we'll paste the ZDAP. And the ZDAP, you can have it here on the layers because you want to immediately work with the fog, or you can even go into the channels, make a new channel, and paste it here. And this will become a mask, and it's always good to have it here. And the ZDAP, I would say the untouched ZDAP, okay, so in this one we didn't have any curve, any adjustment, it's just the inverted ZDAP. If you paste it into the channels, into the new channel, just press double click in here and write Z as a name. This is because once you need the ZDAP to work for the depth of field, the fake depth of field you can add in Photoshop, you need to select one of the channels, and if you have a name on the ZDAP, then you can recognize it immediately. Okay, so this is very cool, and we have the ZDAP there. Now, the theory behind what we're going to do is this. First of all, ZDAP can instantaneously become fog. Okay, what to do? You turn it on, make it visible, and then you turn this into screen. Okay, and as you can see, it immediately becomes fog. But now you want to control, you want full control on this fog. So what to do? You add a curve, attach the curve with the Alt button in the middle, and then you can basically modify, you see, the visibility of the fog going down with the white point or going up with the dark point, you see? Or you can pull or push the fog close to you, but moving the bright point, the white point on the left, or pushing away, moving the black point on, on the right. And as you can see, you can then have full control of where the fog is and how the fog is, you see, transparent. And this is immediately, it works out of the box, and it works immediately, incredibly good. And you don't have to, get crazy with millions of layers. Even if working with just one layer of fog, I see is not the best way because it's too strong. So what I normally do is this. I start with, a first layer of fog like this one. Of course, this stuff should go inside the FX folder. So I just, put this into a group. So, okay, FX number 2, and then fog, becomes inside another group, fog number 1. And you can, of course, going down with the opacity of the group itself, or you want maybe to mask the group, and you can just use a gradient. Say, okay, I want the fog down here, but not up there. And you can do something like this. And it's up to you actually where to paint the fog. But, this could be a first step, and that's cool. Another thing you can do is this. You can go back on the 32-bit ZDAP, and now you can, after you invert that, you can just push and pull with the levels just to say, okay, now what I want to do is add something behind the building. And so with these layers here, you can define a very strong mask, which is, something that actually is white only behind the building, something like this. Okay. And then you can just, Control Alt Shift E again. And this is a brand new mask. And if you take this one and you bring it back into the channels of your main file, new channel, Control V, now you have a strong mask for everything which is behind the building. And so you can add a group, add the mask to the group, and now inside here, we can add everything, okay? We can add photos of smoke in screen mode, or you can even paint, you see, empty layer, take the color of the fog here, just a, very smooth, very blurred brush. And then I can go down with the opacity because I don't want to, do a very strong effect. But you see, if I start painting, I can, have a little bit of fog here and there, and with no effort whatsoever. Just remember, you don't have to paint with white color. Okay, fog is not white. Fog can reach white, but it depends on the distance. So the closer you are to fog, the darker it is. And in images like this, you see, I'm not even painting with a bright value. I'm painting with a dark value, and it adds this kind of dark color on top of the background, on top of the image, and it looks like we have some fog. Of course, you can change. You can keep changing the color, you see. And normally what I do is, again, I create something like this, and then I, go down with the opacity of what I've done, you see, because it's a little by is a step-by-step process. It's not happening in a second, but a good result would be done in many different passes, okay, many different times. And so I go back again here, and this time I maybe push the fog even a little bit further away, you see, like this, see. And now if I again Control Alt Shift E, this mask, so channels, paste into the channels, control click to get the selection, new group, add this mask as a group, and then paint again in here. Okay, you can even paint in screen mode if you want. And you see, and now I'm adding a little bit of fog down there. And this is the best way to add depth to your image little by little without effort, okay? And it works incredibly good. Okay, if you don't like to use your brush, you can use a photo. You can put here a photo, put in screen mode. Of course, it's better if you use like an image of, I don't know, a white smoke on a perfectly black background. It works amazingly, okay? Another thing you can do is, like we have done here in the original file, we can get photos of you see of a light, of a lamp projecting some volumetric fog, and use it in screen mode to get something like this. And we masked this wood pile here black, so it looks like it's behind this area. Another thing we have done here is to take the entire image, okay, as you can see here, see the entire image, make it like it's greenish, and then you can use the radial blur to blur it in from the top, okay. So if you want to do something like this, you can make a print screen of the image, of course without the fog effect, okay. So just hide everything from the FX folder. You make a print screen of the image, Control Alt Shift E, and then you can turn this a little bit more greener. So Control U to get the hue saturation. This is the destructive one, but I don't care. So I go colorize. I go like this, a little bit greener or bluish. See, something like that. And then you can go filter, blur, radial blur, and pick the point and move it up there in zoom mode. Press OK. Of course, if you have a smart object, you can go back and fix if it doesn't work. You see, and then you put this in screen mode, and then you decrease the see, the opacity. Maybe too much, too green, but you can change the saturation any moment if you don't like it. And you get this idea of light passing through the leaves, passing through the pines, and reaching your face, and it works amazingly good. And if you want, you can then use the Z depth to mask it if you need. In some cases does work, in some other cases doesn't work. Depends what you are making, what you're selecting with the Z depth actually. Okay, so the trick is put a levels in the 32-bit, and then move these points to select areas you want to define, and then create a mask. Control Alt Shift E, take the mask, bring it into the other layer, PSD channels, new channel, paste it, and then you can use it by clicking with the control, and you can select that. And little by little, you can get to a nice result. You see. And it's up to you actually what to do. You can even do it in different folders, and then you can just go down with the opacity of the main folder, and you see this was the original one. Now I worked a little bit more on the lower background, and it looks better. It looks even better because we had a little bit of distance even here where before was completely black. Okay. And that's it. So this is very easy to use. Again, you can use ZDepth as a mask or as a fog layer in screen mode. Okay, so now it's your turn. Open this project and hide everything, but not the adjustment, not the render, not the background. So hide the FX map and all the previous layers, and try yourself to create some fog.